Hey, everybody, welcome to Dirty Sliders Podcast. We're just a group of friends who get together and discuss dirt track racing. We have Raz Barlow, Neildon Roundy Miller, Shane Sexton, Thomas Soper, Brandon Jacina, John Bridger, and myself, Phil Comfer. We don't claim to be experts. We just like to sit down and have a great discussion. Hope you enjoy it. So grab your favorite cold drink, a good snack, strap in, and hang on for a great ride.
Well, welcome to episode three, gentlemen. The viewership of episode two was kind of blew me away. Um,
Wow.
this episode is sponsored by Mill Run Tools LLC. You can find Mill Run Tools on Instagram, on Facebook. If you need any tools, not just Snap-on, contact Neildon and he can help you out. He's the man.
And TikTok.
TikTok as well. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I got them all.
Well,
All
wait a minute.
right,
Did you just say we got sponsorship?
sponsorship.
Yeah, it just went to the guy at the top corner, not everybody else.
Um, we're also on Spotify now. So if you want to listen to us in your car, on your any mobile device, we're same Dirty Sliders on Spotify. Working on Apple Podcast. That process is a little bit more complicated. So that's Soper. Thank you, sir. All right.
Rookie.
So we're still going there. I
Will you
guess
turn
you
the
didn't get
corn
the
off?
memo that we need to
Yeah,
mute the background
whatever you got
noise.
going on, Thomas, it needs to be muted.
I can't hear anything but you guys.
There's something coming through your mic.
Yeah. I don't know.
Must be the TV in the background.
Yeah, it's definitely him because he muted his mic and now it's gone.
Is it back? Are we good?
We're good.
Okay.
Hey, we're not professionals. We said that in the open.
Yeah,
we
still
are not.
trying.
So I guess start off with some good news, bad news, with Chase Johnson. A little bit of background is I helped him out in a couple races when he was racing with Jimmy May, including Santa Maria, where I told a certain driver we'll call the devil that he should get away from Chase or it was going to be bad for his health. Had a bad crash at Silver Dollar. I'm not going to show it because you can't see hardly anything. The biggest thing is you see the car come down hard, just pancake on all four wheels, which is one of the for a sprint car driver. It's one of the worst ways. That's pretty much how Alex Bowman got hurt. It's how our own Shane Sexton got hurt. Countless drivers have gotten hurt that way. He had multiple surgeries and is still in the ICU but is responsive. Last I heard, they were working on taking his breathing tube out so they could communicate with him. No news on extremities, and I'll defer to our two medical guys what's going on there. With that kind of injury, Phil, what are we looking at?
You got to worry about bone fragments in the spinal column. You got to worry about swelling of the spinal column, or basically a permanent damage to the spinal column where it's severed. And there's really, if that happened, there's not a lot you can come back with that. But compression fractures are really tough because when you get a compression fracture, it can spit out a bone, a chunk of bone, or a small sliver of bone into the spinal column, and it can create havoc in there, and it can start pushing on the nerves and start severing nerves and things like
Yeah, so our thoughts and prayers go out to Chase and his family. Hope he makes a full recovery and gets back to racing. He's a nice guy. He's an aggressive driver. There are some rather viral YouTube videos out from Paris with him and a certain devil race car driver. But he's you got to be aggressive if you want to win. Next up,
Yep.
John's got some info from a late model world.
Yeah, late model world. Thomas Soper actually called this one last week on the podcast, and Garrett, picks up his first win. Thomas has got his shirt there. picks up his first Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series win at the Rumble at the River on Friday night. He started in fourth, was running real well. He had Ricky Thornton Jr., Devin Moran in front of him for a long time. Coming up the last laps, he was actually making up time on them. They were running the high side good. Got to 5 laps to go, and a tear off from somebody's helmet actually took the drone out that was filming and caused a caution. So I'm sure with as close as he's come in the past, he was looking at that going, oh, what's going to stop this now? But they started again, and he kept just whittling away at Ricky Thornton Jr. and Devin Moran's their lead. He got up to Ricky Thornton Jr. actually went a little high, bounced the cushion coming out of 2. Coming down to the last laps, he got around, and it was a drag race. He didn't lead any laps completely. He led the last maybe 50 feet of that race, won by 0.009 seconds. So it was a drag race. I watched it. It was a great race to watch. Unfortunately for Garrett, on Saturday night, sorry, he was in there going for the 50,000. He won 10,000 on Friday, going for the 50,000 Friday night or Saturday night again. Sorry, was doing really well. Got about 4 laps in, and from his Facebook post, looks like he had a ring and pinion gear in his rear end just blow up. So he was out, unfortunately, that night. I think he would have had something for him that night also.
Yeah, tough break on Saturday, but how many times have you heard from somebody that the first lap doesn't pace the last lap?
Yep.
And
Well, what's
All the
pretty
time.
cool about him though is he's following us on our social media too, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's always awesome. Always awesome to see a good young racer get a win like that. Sober, what's your relationship with this guy? Is he a friend of yours? Or what?
no, I just one, I follow him and I like him because he's one of the younger guys. He's got a name, but not a big name. But then he's a solo operation out of Las Cruces, New Mexico. You know, where does all these other guys race at? If you're talking the Midwest and the South, that's where all the late model guys are at. And he's, home base out there in Las Cruces. So pretty cool to see, somebody who's so isolated come up there and put one on the big dogs.
Didn't the Briggses come out of New Mexico? Boom Briggs and those guys? I think they run Vado Speedway or whatever down there in New Mexico.
Vado. So, Vado, yeah, Vado. So the late models go down to Vado in January, the same week as the Chili Bowl, and they run a big race. And it's the last 2 years, it's been a really good race down there, and that's the home track for Garrett. But to my knowledge, he's the only late model guy on the tour who's based out of New Mexico.
Yeah, and it looks like Thomas said, it's just a little race shop. He's actually sponsored by Roberts Motorsports, and I think it's just the husband-wife team that kind of sponsor him. They're kind of a big sponsor for him, and they did really well. I was very sad when I was watching Saturday night's main, and he was doing well, and then just broke going down the backstretch. But like I said on here before, that's racing. You take the good with the bad, and he'll fix it and get back out there next time.
So next up, we have the title that Bobby Pierce currently holds on this podcast, and was a strong contender this week as well for the dirty of the dirty. So, Brandon, what do you got there? A certain turbo?
Oh, yeah. So Tyler Erb's been getting quite the name around the World of Outlaw Late Model Series as throwing some dirties out there. And this week was no different, as Cade Diller found out quite unexpectedly when he got sent up into the fence. If we can pull the video on that. So Tyler Erb's right there in the green one card. Cade Diller's on his outside in the red and white 97.
Yeah, let's take a look at that again. That was pretty strong.
Yeah, so I mean, Tyler Erb's one of the guys that's been kind of racing hard, but you see him get to the inside there, 3 wide there. and then he just swings it up the track. Very much not clear there,
Whoa.
as Kay Dillard found out the hard way there. Um, but yeah, he's been the talk here recently of the World of Outlaws series for throwing those. Actually, Todd Cooney Motorsports, he's the team that Ryan Gustin races out of, posted it on his Facebook page and said, if the Mr. Herb wasn't a big name in the World of Outlaw series, he'd probably be in a little trouble because he's been playing pinball there recently coming through the field.
Well, I mean, this isn't NASCAR. These issues have a way of working themselves out.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Well, do you
When
think that
you
was a dirty slider, or do you think that was him avoiding traffic? I mean, if you see
well,
he gets right up on that traffic, and you got to do something.
Well,
let's
if you
let's
see
let's
it go, you
let's
see,
let's have the vote. We did that's what we did on Bobby Pierce.
Well, let's watch it again. Let's put
All
it
right,
back up again.
all right.
It was a little
well,
choppy on my side, so I'll make sure
Neil,
I
and
give it good.
if you watch it close, I mean, they're three wide going in there, but
Hmm.
then Turbo just comes clean up the track. Like he had room to hold his middle groove there if he wanted to, but he was trying to get to the outside lane, which was clearly superior to the inside lane. If you notice Brian Shirley right there in the three car on the high side, then you got
But
Nick
he's got a hell of a
Hoffman.
run going down the middle.
Look right here. He's got plenty of room.
Nothing left on the bottom.
Well, Ryan Gustin was there.
I mean, there's no denying he cleaned him
Wait.
out. But was he trying to slide him, or was he trying to keep moving and not get in traffic?
Well, I mean, Ryan
Uh,
Gustin was running third there, so it's not like you were in traffic. You were racing the top five guys there.
You see how hard Turbo drives the car into the corner by how quickly he catches that lap car.
Mm-hmm.
He absolutely had every single intention of using every inch of that corner from the bottom to the top. And Mr. Cade Dillard was like, "No, I'm going to challenge you for it." And well, Cade
But
lost.
Soper, that wasn't a lapped car. That was Ryan Gustin. He was running third at the time. Brian Shirley was there. Nick Hoffman was there. And Ryan Gustin. That wasn't a lapped car on the bottom. That was the 19 of
It
Ryan
looked like
Gustin.
it.
My apologies.
I like
He
I
put
like
it
the
up on it like
announcer.
a hot stick.
I like the announcer. Oh, Turbo.
Had a little too much turbo on entry there, but let's open that up to a vote on Dirty Slider number 2. We'll start with you, Raz.
I'm gonna call it dirty. He knew he was out there.
Bill.
Dirt, dirt, dirt.
Neilton.
That's some red clay right there, baby. That's dirty.
Bridger.
I tend to side with Soper on this one. I think that Turbo was going to use every inch of the track, and if you don't have position, you're in for that happening. So I'm going to go with not nice, but not dirty.
Soper, you're up.
I mean, when I was saying that he was going to use every inch, I'm damn right it's dirty. He was going up there. He knew Cade was there.
Okay. But see, okay, this I guess is a difference. I figure he knew he was going to be somewhere on his right side, but he didn't know where he was going to end up.
Well, where he
He
was gonna
didn't
end up
see
was
him
in the
out there.
fence.
He definitely ended up on the wall.
Yeah.
So I guess I put a little of the responsibility on that car that's clearly been passed and is going to continue being passed to maybe lift just a touch more out of the loud pedal and would have saved him a lot of money on his car. I bet that.
Well,
Well,
your vote is irrelevant, Justina. But go ahead and say your piece.
well, my piece says we have Dirty Slider number 2, baby. Tyler Erb holding down the spot.
Dirty slider of the week, right there. I mean, what could the guy on the outside have done differently?
I mean,
Giving up.
I
That's
mean,
all.
Well,
even if he hacks the throttle, he still gets hit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
because
I think so.
he was at the front tire there. He wasn't anywhere close to being clear. And if Kay Dillard got on the binders, you still get hit.
Yeah. All right, next
okay.
up, I put this shirt on just for this one here.
Let me see
So
if I can get it. Where'd it go? Well, I was gonna share it. I can't find it right now. I can't bring it up, but basically, Sammy Swindell, um,
Who's how old?
68 years old, got
68
the
years old.
68 years old, got the ASCS win in Arkansas at the Riverside International Speedway. Still out there getting it done, and man, he's wow, that guy, ageless,
Legend for sure.
oh, legend
Yeah.
status for sure, but ageless. That guy just getting out there with the kids, and sometimes I guess I understand that even at his age, some of the young kids want to get a little rowdy, and he's willing to go out there and dance with them a little bit.
Come here, you little pisser.
I think on that one, didn't he start seventh in that deal, Phil?
He did. He started
Yes.
seventh and drove up first.
To be
So
clear, that was not the funky coilover car with a weird suspension. That was a different
okay,
car.
okay, that was going to be my question.
And
And
when
unfortunately,
when he
we don't have
said come
video
here, you
on it.
little when he said come here, you little pisser, that was to Kyle Larson as a chili bowl, by the way.
Yeah,
I think
But
that
yeah,
just gives all those older race car drivers out there hope that they can keep doing it till they
hey,
want to stop.
you don't have to be mean about this, Bridger.
right.
I wasn't talking about anybody on this podcast, and I mean,
Sure.
Yeah, but I was damn sure looking at him.
Damn
me
it.
too, me too.
I'm eight years younger than him, and I'm not fit to hold his jock.
Well, that's fact.
But yeah, it's good to see Sammy still getting it done. He's kind of been going through it.
Yeah.
Rough couple years for sure.
Thomas, tell us about Corey Day.
Corey
Yes,
Day,
sir. Get
man,
some.
18 years old, goes back to back at the Gold Cup at Silver Dollar Speedway up in Chico. That whole week from the 360 show up was a great week, with the exception of the accident that happened to Chase. It's just Corey leads it wire to wire. He's a high banks elbow up kind of guy, and that track races that way. Now that throughout the weekend, turns 3 and 4 were quite treacherous. It's a razor's edge up there on that cushion that they had, and quite a few cars, to include people like Brad Sweet, came over top of that cushion off the track off of 3 and 4.
Yeah,
But I
Silver
mean,
Dollar usually gets like a curb, like it's like a foot high.
yeah, I mean, it looks like it's this tall, but all you got to do is breathe on it, and you're over the top of it. It looks like. But yeah, I mean, it was like I said, great racing. It would look like a hell of a time to go up there and watch. I think it's only 8 hours or so from us down here in San Diego. So maybe next year for the Gold Cup, we make a trip up there. And then going back to the 360 show, we had a little touching between Kyle Larson and Justin Sanders. I don't know if we want to touch on that, but
Bring it, bring the heat, bring the smoke.
Kyle Larson came up on lap traffic and had to check up. I mean, they were scattered from top to bottom in front of him, and he was trying to tiptoe his way through. And Justin Sanders, in my opinion, came through with his elbows up in a bull ring and just pushed Kyle Larson off the track and ended Kyle Larson's night. Kyle had that race won, and he would have gone, what, 7 in a row on sprint cars?
Should have nominated that one for a dirty slider if that's what happened.
Well, I mean, it was coming up off the corner, and Justin was trying to jump a gap between two cars, I think, and Kyle was already there taking it, and Justin just pushed him out of the way. It wasn't so much
Yeah.
of a slider as he just drove through him.
Hey, it's a contact sport. You knew that when they handed you a helmet.
It is. And Justin gets out of the car and, it's like, I hate to win it that way. And the crowd's booing him, this, that, and the other. And um, one of the other drivers says, kind of sucks that this race ended that way. All these cars have 2 pedals. Just saying.
Well, and I love it that whenever that happens, they always say, "Man, I hate to win it that way," but they don't ever give the win back.
No, they're not handing him the trophy back.
Yeah, I hate to win that way, but you know what? If I got to win that way, I will.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The bank account likes it.
So,
that
Silver,
way.
do you know who the last person to go back to back was?
Kyle Larson, 2011 and
11
12.
and 12. Yeah. We've
Yep.
heard that name a couple times. So maybe this kid's got
Yep.
something going for him.
Well, this
It
kid,
might.
your your dirt world's about to lose him because
Yeah, he's.
he is aimed squarely at NASCAR and dirt and asphalt racing. That's
I believe.
his future career path.
I believe
I
he's
can't
had
blame
one
him.
race with the Cars Tour Series this year. One race with
Yeah.
them, and he held his own. I mean, didn't win it, but he held his own. Did really good. So
Now he's a very talented race car driver, and I hate to see him step out of the dirt world, but reality is that's not where the money's at.
Mm-mm.
yep,
There's big paydays, but you got to work real hard to get them.
Well, and you got to
yep.
have big sponsors to get there. I don't care, even if he's going to the Cars Tour, he's still got to bring some money with him.
Oh yeah, a late model ain't cheap. I mean, hell,
Uh,
racing ain't cheap. I don't care what it is.
yeah, you can say that. You can say that again twice on Sunday.
What was it that came out the other day? The average American spends $250 on their hobby a year or some joke.
Yeah, what kind of hobby you
What
got?
hobby they got? I think knitting costs more than that.
I mean, if you say that racing's my job and the Navy's my hobby, then yeah, $250 a year.
Hey, about right there.
You know how to make a small fortune in racing, right?
Start with a
Get out.
giant
Start with a
one.
big one.
Next up, we got Brandon with Gustin, right?
Yes, sir. Actually, the Fireball 50. Friday night got our dirty slider of the season number 2 out of Tyler Erb. Gustin finished third on Friday night there. Bobby Pierce won it. Brian Shirley was second. Ryan Gustin was third, and Nick Hoffman was fourth. And then Saturday night's big dance. Ryan Gustin set quick time there, the Reaper, out of Marshalltown, Iowa, driving for Todd Cooney Motorsports, set quick time. Won the heat race, started on the pole, led it wire to wire. Bobby Pierce came up 2 spots, finished second. Brian Shirley finished third. He came up 7 spots. And Nick Hoffman, with a good run, came up 18 spots to finish fourth on Saturday for the 15,000 to win. But that gives Gustin win number 8 on the season. He's currently fourth in the World of Outlaw Late Models point standings. Brandon Shepard, B Shep, is leading that. There's a tie for second. Bobby Pierce and Nick Hoffman are tied for second, and Ryan Gustin sitting fourth in the World of Outlaw Late Model points. But 8 wins on the year. Todd Cooney Motorsports, since his first year, uh, where Todd not really driving, he hired Ryan Gustin away from the ride he previously had. So first year for that team together, and 8 wins so far is pretty dang good coming from a small town Iowa guy.
Wasn't Gustin on that quote unquote reality show they had for a while with all the modified guys?
Yeah.
The Dirt Knights, because he used to
Yeah.
race the USMTS Modifieds for Gracel Racing before he got up into the late models. And there for a minute, he was driving his own late model and kind of traveling around a little bit.
So speaking of modifieds, is anything happening around Boone, Iowa in the next couple weeks?
Well, not the
Nah.
next couple of weeks. We're talking about Saturday. Kicks off the prelude to the IMCA Super Nationals at Boone Speedway. And right now, the pre-entry standings sit at 952 pre-entered cars. 230 of those are modifieds out of 26 states and 2 Canadian provinces. Stock cars have 266 from 21 states and 1 from Australia. Hobby stocks 145 from 14 states. Sport mods got 160 from 15 states. Sport compacts 61 cars from 11 states. And Model Lights 71 cars from 10 states. And like I said, Prelude kicks off Saturday, so pretty much from Saturday to next Saturday, racing at Boone for the IMCA Super Nationals.
Nice. Anytime you can pull 1,000 cars, you're doing something right.
Last year they had
Yeah.
1,029 cars or something like that race.
So I'm gonna set a goal right now for next year that we have a circle of campers in the parking lot. We'll be doing the podcast live from Boone.
So I've been begging people to go to Super Nationals, not dragging a car sober. The first time you got to pack a lunch because I'm telling you, 460 plus races across the week is a lot of racing, my friends.
Yeah, I raced it one year back in the 90s, and it wasn't the event it is now, but it was a big event back then. And yeah, you had to bring your work boots.
I was probably there if you were racing, I was probably there because in the 90s, I don't think I missed the Super Nationals.
So last episode we talked a little bit about Paul Silva and his turned up mufflers. Um, do we have any change of opinion on why he's doing it?
It's winning races.
No,
It's
But
winning races.
I'm
it's
going
not.
with the heat on the tires.
Yeah, I think that's probably the
yeah.
way. Getting heat off the. Probably more the shocks than the tires, because you
Well,
start.
I saw some spy shots from Rico at the welding shop having some headers built.
Well, that's the reason I bring it up is because now there's an epidemic of turned up mufflers. It's just like a rash.
If you threw corn cob on the car before you went on the track and won with it, guys would throw corn cobs on the car before they went on the track. It don't
I
Yeah,
matter.
think you were talking
I
about this last episode, Raz, that it might not be anything, but once one profound guy does it, seems like there's quite the following.
I used to say forever, if Dale Earnhardt was out there rubbing cow poop on his right rear fender, the next week there'd be 10 guys rubbing cow poop on their right rear fender and not knowing why.
Hmm.
And
Right.
I think it's a little bit of this as far as, well, I don't know why I'm doing it, but he's fast and he does it.
Well, you could take the theory of pushing air under the wing out the window because Justin Grant did it in the non-wing and won too.
I don't think they're doing it to sweep the underside of the wing. I really think it's to keep the shocks cooler. We know from our own racing, you grab a hold of a shock when you come right off the track, you'll burn the hell out of your hand. They get hot.
How do you know that, Marshall?
Yeah, but that
Uh,
damn tech guy wants you to take it off so he can check it.
those damn tech guys, they kill more races than Bobby Pierce and Tyler Erb combined. In other news, Hunter Schurenberg got the TKS Motorsports ride for the rest of the season. That's a big deal. They're a pretty formidable team, and Hunter Schurenberg's a hell of a nice guy. He was in our midget last year at Chili Bowl. I got to hang out with him, spend some time with him. Super nice guy, but he's like Jekyll and Hyde because super nice guy. Slap the helmet on him. He's just a killer. Real aggressive in a smart way. And that team is fast. They've won some races with other drivers. So congrats to Hunter for that ride. I think it might turn into something. They're running some World Outlaws races, some high limit races, and I really hope Hunter does well. If Hunter, if you're hearing this on this podcast, I left a message on your phone. You could have been here tonight talking about it. Answer your messages.
Who's gonna drive that Woodland Brothers car this year at the Chili Bowl, Raz?
Hold on, I want to get to that. I got to show off something though.
Yeah. Stop jumping
Oh,
the gun, Justina.
Damn it.
premature like normal.
Tries to steal everybody's thunder.
That's what your wife said.
Whoa.
Hey, somebody had to say it.
It was getting said with this group.
So there's a picture of the TKS ride. They do something really cool. Their number is 2, and the team is TKS, so the number is 2KS. So I thought that was pretty slick.
Is it big
Oh,
screen on you? Because all
Yeah.
I see is the
no, we
three
can't
thumbnails.
see it. I just see the little
hourglass.
hourglass.
Really?
Mhm.
Really?
Be careful what you click there, Raz.
All my porn's on another computer.
Your corn,
Well, this
corn
one's
starts
slow.
with a
It's
C.
He
Well,
didn't
you
get as
can
old as
you
he is
can.
putting his porn on the same computer.
I guess we can thank the Kentucky internet for that. But
it's got to be a
Are you
little
crazy?
better than the old Bridger internet.
Bridger's doing good this time. All right, leave him alone.
Yeah. Thank you, Neilden.
I got your back this time.
so I don't
Hey,
know.
Brandon, stop
I don't know.
running into me on the racetrack.
Don't park on the front straightaway.
Yeah.
True.
I don't know if it's been officially announced yet, but if it hasn't, I guess I'll make the official announcement here. This midget that I help out at the Chili Bowl, will with the Jimmy May Woodland Auto Display car, the driver for Chili Bowl and for Turkey Night in Ventura is going to be Chase McDermott.
There we
Nice.
go.
Cool.
It's a new chassis this year, right?
Congratulations.
They're running triple X chassis instead of the spikes we ran before. And the motor is something different. Instead of the Stanton or the Toyota or the Esslinger, they're running, it's called a one-way, based on a small block Chevy. I got to talk to the engine builder at Hobstadt in Indiana when Chase was running it up there for Indiana Midget Week, and he's doing some pretty exciting stuff. He's wringing the neck out of that motor, and he's getting pretty close to that 400 horsepower number.
That's pretty.
Nice.
That should be competitive with the Toyotas, right?
It's if you go by the published numbers, it's right up there with all the top motors.
And well, we know Chili Bowl is not a horsepower track.
Well, it is, but it's a grunt get up out of the corner track, and that's where this motor seems to have a little bit of advantage. It's pretty good on the bottom end.
Nice.
The Stantons are a little better than the Toyotas off the bottom. Supposedly, Toyotas are doing some funny things in the electronics that we're probably not supposed to talk about. That have nobody can confirm or deny, but it's probably going to be a Toyota or Stanton that wins that race this year. Let's be realistic. The car that I'm helping out with, we'll be lucky if we make it to Saturday night, much less win it.
Yeah. The alphabet soup, as they say, is a tough road to go.
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
anybody out there listening, if you have never been to the Chili Bowl, I highly recommend going. The TV does not do it justice. It's an amazing week-long event, and it's like a full normal weekly show every night from Monday to Friday, and then Saturday starts at 9 o'clock in the morning with the O feature.
And the entertainment there is interesting to say the least. So I've heard.
Well, it's one of those things where you race your qualifier night and you may not be racing again for 3 or 4 nights until Saturday. Well, you got to do something. And
Get bored.
a whole bunch of racers, in a building that, with war stories and everything else going on, there's some lubricants flowing in that building.
One
And if you
bottle outside
and
that's quite tall.
Yeah.
if you stick around and watch long enough, if you watch where track entrance is, you can see about a 5'10" hunched over bald man in a goatee watching the races.
That's 6'2".
Sir, I'm 6'2". Yeah.
When you
He's
stand up
5'10" when he's
straight,
hunched.
Yeah.
I guess with the all white and the goatee now, I can stand next to Keith Coons and see if we can pass for twins or not.
Hey, you might make some money just standing there.
I was gonna
Well, I
say
tell
not
you.
a bad one.
The money I have is falling out of his pockets because he's getting it done.
Hey, he's not a dumb businessman, that's for sure. So,
Yeah.
Keith, if you're listening, you can come on the podcast. Don't worry. Come on. We'll have you on.
Right.
I've tried talking to him a few times. He's either very shy or just doesn't want to talk to people, one or the other.
Well, have you seen yourself lately?
You're a little intimidating.
Well, that's all I got. What do you guys? You got anything else? I know you were racing next week if you guys get your cars fixed in time.
Well, I just got the front end pretty much rebuilt during the off week. New radiator in. Tie rod showed up today, and I think Bridger's going to borrow one of the four that I purchased because his is in need of repair. Luckily, I bought four
Hey.
instead of one.
Well, it's only
Thank
right
you.
since you hit it. Since you hit him.
Right.
Well, like I said, don't park on the front straightaway. You can't park there, bud.
Hey, don't look at your own
Hey.
hood.
Yeah. Oh, yes. See, there's stuff in front of your hood, Brandon.
See, I
So
got
that
you again,
doesn't
John.
end at the thanks, Malin.
Just in front of you, Bridger, was the infield. Had you gassed her up, you would have cleared the path of racing surface.
Well, okay, but I didn't know what was going on, and it's like a dead. Anyways,
The old spin cycle, huh?
the old spin cycle, right? And then
So
yes, thank you for letting me borrow a tie rod.
once again, I want to thank tonight's sponsor for episode 3, Mill Run Tools. You can find him on Facebook, find him on TikTok, find him on Instagram. Buy some tools. He needs the money. He just had a baby boy.
Yeah,
He's little. He's
Yep.
like this big.
Yep.
And thank
Uh,
everybody for the amazing support for episode 2. It far exceeded our expectations. Very humbling to see that many people interested in what we have to say. So thank you. Like, subscribe, comment, and let everybody know that we're on Spotify too.
And
Any-
social
yep,
media.
absolutely.
Yeah, we got we're Dirty Sliders on X. Go ahead and do the deal, Bridger.
So we got Dirty Sliders on X. We got a Dirty Sliders Facebook page. We got Dirty Sliders Instagram page. I will be awarding the official Dirty Slider of tonight and putting that up on all our social media tomorrow for anybody who didn't watch or didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing tomorrow. So yeah, again, like Raz said, it's very humbling to see this many people want to see 6 people like us talk about dirt track racing because like we say, we're just a bunch of friends who like to get together, and some of us are not as close as we'd like to be anymore, but this is a good way to get that out and talk to each other and talk about what we like talking about.
Well, I'll be up on the hill this weekend to watch you guys again. The wife gave the okay.
good.
We're gonna take the rig out. I'm gonna leave the lights on
Well.
all night again.
Yeah,
What a
okay,
guy.
Brandon, don't look at the lights. Don't look at Nealon's lights. That's a help too.
Don't park
And-
in the front straightaway, Bridger, please.
Maybe by next
No, I like-
maybe by next podcast, Gene Haas will get his F1 cars back.
Yeah, maybe. Oh
Maybe.
yeah, what's going on with
Yeah.
that, Phil?
That's not dirt track racing.
All
We'll have to
right,
start
well,
another podcast for
True.
F1.
That's true.
good night, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the support. Please keep it up. We're having a blast. We want to keep this going.
Yep,
Love you guys. Love you,
absolutely.
boys.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
See you, folks.
See you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.